What's up everyone? I am super excited to share my version of a men's crop. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's start cutting some hair. So the hair is damp, we shampooed it. We're going to go in with the 5.5 hybrid scissor by CCH Scissors, which will allow me to cut on wet and dry hair. So let's go ahead and start cutting out this front hairline, starting in the front. We're going to cut the length to our desired length that we want. Keep in mind we are cutting a crop men's haircut, you guys, so I'm gonna go pretty short around that front hairline. So I'm gonna go ahead and work that all around the front until I have my desired length that I want. I pre-washed the hair with Suns by Courtney Cook Hair, the daily shampoo and daily conditioner. Now we have the desired length, you guys. We went pretty short. Don't be scared if we're going in and cutting a crop. You want to go short. So now we're going to go ahead and work our left side first. Again, we're over directing all the hair forward, and we're cutting right along the front hairline, connecting up to our front length that we established. I'm going to go ahead and continue that on the other side. Remember guys, there's no rush. You can go nice and slow, just kind of be clean. And let's go ahead and work that other side and continue the same technique, over directing all the hair on the side forward and cutting up along the front hairline, connecting to the top. I'm going to mist down the hair a little bit. I like using a nice cutting lotion, keeping the hair damp. I do not go in with clips most of the time when I'm cutting men's hair, unless there's a lot of hair that I'm working with, but the hair is already short, so there's no need for clips. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that hair nice and moist. So now let's work on the side. Let's go ahead and clean up the perimeter, working around the ears. Cutting right up against that perimeter of the hairline. This is where I really like the 5.5 because it's small and allows me to get in those tight areas. So we're going to go and work that around the ear and follow along all the way around the head. Keeping in mind you want to comb the hair towards the direction that you're cutting. Make sure you get a nice clean perimeter. So we're going to continue that on the other side, working the same technique, combing the hair towards the direction that you are cutting. Which is going to give us a nice clean line all the way around the ears and throughout the rest of the head. So this is kind of just getting my perimeter starting, you guys. We're not going to get into any layering yet. We're just we started in the front, we worked all the way around the head, through the back, through the sides, and just kind of cleaned up the perimeter. So now finally, we're going to go ahead and clean up the back, right along that hairline. Again, you can always go ahead and clean this back up towards the end if you'd like. I like to start and go ahead and get the perimeter all throughout the head nice and clean first. Let's go ahead and continue that around the head. There we go, we got a clean line. I'm going in with the soft point cutting technique. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe down the back of the mannequin head for this video, but you guys want to keep in mind when you're working with clients, make sure all the hair is off their face, off the neck, so it doesn't get itchy. Alright, so let's do a little recap. So we went in and just kind of cleaned up around the hairline, the front hairline, Really just creating our perimeter. Again, I went in with our 5.5 hybrid scissor. Throughout this haircut, I am going to keep on misting it down with a nice cutting lotion, keeping the hair nice and moist. So you want to really remember to kind of comb the hair when you're cutting the perimeter. Each direction, wherever you're cutting, make sure the hair is combed into that direction. So let's go ahead and take this first section. Well, in other words, I should say we're splitting the hair from the top, from the sides to the top. So we're creating a nice straight line. Remember, we want to cut square because this is going to be a men's haircut that we're doing. I don't use clips, so I keep spraying it down just to weigh down the hair a little bit, just to help keep the hair in place, keep it away nice and clean. So there we go, we have a straight line. So I'm going to take this first section, pull it out at a horizontal section at a 90-degree angle, and with a nice soft point cut a straight line. Okay, we'll take our next section, still working with the horizontal section, bringing it straight out from the head at a 90-degree, and connecting that, finishing that line. What we're doing here is we're establishing a guide. I'm going to use this guide when we move on to cutting the sides. As well, we'll use it when we move on to the top. So right now what we're doing is we're moving up. We're taking a new section. Okay, still straight across. And we're going to bring everything towards, and now we have our guide. So we're going to go ahead and cut, following our guide from the previous section we cut. So we're bringing all the hair into that first section that we cut. So you're going to go ahead and keep on moving up towards the top of the head to whatever hair will reach. If the hair is already short, whenever it doesn't reach, you can move on. If the hair is super long, just keep working it all the way until there's no more hair that can reach. So working to the 90 and making sure you're bringing all that hair into that first section that we established that guide. So again, just bringing everything into that section. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the opposite side. Go ahead and split the hair from the top and the sides. Straight line. We are going to be cutting square, straight out from the head. I'm going to cut our desired length. Again, working with horizontal sections, cutting in a 90-degree angle, straight out from the head. And then we work up. And bring all of that as we work up to the center part of the head. We're going to bring everything down to that first guide that we've created. And you're going to keep moving until you have no more hair that will reach. So a straight line, we're going to be creating a box, keeping it square. So now we're going to split the front from the back. More so we're working on the top right now. So I kind of like to use the ears right before the head starts to round. We're going to just get that hair out of the way and go at that back area. Next, we're going to work on this top area first before we move on to the sides. Alright, so let me show you guys. See that? Straight across, just divided the top from the back. So we're going to go ahead and work on this top section next. So what we're going to do is we're going to establish the center parting. We're actually going to take a center section. And what we're going to do here is we're going to establish our guide on the top. Use your mirror when it comes to doing that center part to make sure you're right in the middle. So what we're going to do is we have that front hairline length that we cut at the beginning. So we're going to go right above it, and we're going to go ahead and start again, pulling everything at a 90 straight up towards the ceiling. Going in with a nice soft point cutting technique. When we're bringing everything up, we're cutting a straight line all the way to that back section that we did. As you can see, straight line. Comb all that forward. Now we're going to move to the rest of the top of the head. You're going to pick the side to work on, either side you want. There's our guide, and there's our other guide on the sides. A lot of the haircuts I do, I say I play connecting the dots. So we're cutting square. So we're going to go up and we have that guide on the side and our guide on the top. We're going to cut a straight line, bring everything up to a 90, straight up towards the ceiling. The nice soft point cutting technique, cutting straight across. Just kind of connecting the dots. Whatever hair is too short on the sides and it doesn't reach, let it fall, don't cut it. There we go. Straight up towards the ceiling. I'm still going in with the 15.5. So once you establish that guide in the center, you have that to work off of. You're going to move up towards the front. Whatever hair will reach into your section, you'll cut. So you're going to continue that on the other side. These are guides. Now let's play connect the dots. Men's haircutting is a lot of fun for me. I don't post a lot of my work on Instagram or on my social media, but I do have quite a bit of a male clientele. I think it's super important to really understand men's haircutting and women's haircutting. I'm going to go ahead and work that all the way into the front, do a little cross check. You can see we're creating a box. So again, we took that center section first. We cut a straight line, and as you can see, we created this straight square box section. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the back. There you can really see that box that we're going to create. Now we're going to move on to this top part on the back. So we have our sides that we cut up to above the ear. So we're going to work off those points. Get all that hair pushed away. If you want to use a clip for this, you can. Whatever works best for you. Just try to stay super clean so you don't get lost. Use a little cutting lotion or water to weigh down the hair a little bit. Help keep the hair pushed away. So there we go. So we have that. So we're going to kind of bring those two guides back towards us. I'm going to go ahead and cut that straight out. Still going with the point cutting technique. Look at your fingers and make sure they're straight. This is right below where the head starts to round. I don't love on men's haircuts when it goes too high. I usually like to keep it right below the roundness of the head. Keeping in mind there's a lot of calyx in these areas. So I'm going to bring everything down as we move forward into that first section. So now we're not bringing it straight out. We're bringing it down to that previous section. And you're going to keep moving up towards the top of the head and keep going up until you don't have any hair that's reaching to that guide. So as you can see, there's just a little bit there. So you keep moving up towards the top until there's no more hair that will reach. And we created our box section. So now what we're doing is we're bringing all the hair up towards the ceiling, and we're going to connect that to that center guide that we created on top of the head. So again, taking it all up towards the ceiling and going in with a point cutting. We'll continue that on to the other side. So there we have it. We have the top. So we have the perimeter done and we have the top done. Work that perimeter all the way around. Cut the top. So now we have our sides and the back. So I like to switch out my comb and my scissors when I get onto these sides. I'm going to move up from the 5.5, I'm going to go up to the 6.5. I like working with a longer scissor when I'm doing scissor over comb or any dry cutting. We're still going in wet, and check out that small comb. I'm moving up to a bigger comb. It's a little bit wider. It's a little easier for me when I'm cutting scissor over comb. Again, you guys, scissors and combs are preference. You have to find what works for you, what you feel comfortable with. There's no right size comb, right size scissor. If it works for you, it works for me. I like to go in. So there you can see we have that first guide that we established when we cut the sides. So that's our guide as we're working down. We go in, hold the hair in the comb, and just slightly point cut, bringing all the hair straight out from the head. Super square still. We're just going to work down. We're not building any graduation yet and keeping it tight around the hairline. We're going to go back and do that further on in this haircut. Right now we're just bringing everything out in our comb at a 90 degree and point cutting it. Going off that first guide we established and working down. We're going to go ahead and do that on the other side. Again, I switched into a wider comb and I switched scissors. I switched into our 6.5, also a hybrid scissor. So there we have our guide. Keeping your comb straight across, you guys. Think a box when you're cutting men's hair. Just following your guide, working down. The reason why I like to work down is I have that first guide to work off of. If you work from the bottom up, you're more likely to create graduation, which we're going to do, but I'm not getting there yet because I like to kind of stay in control, keep in control when I'm cutting this hair. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the back. Again, as the hair dries up, you guys, keep misting it down. If you're gonna cut the hair dry, start with it fully dry. If you're gonna cut the hair damp, cut the full haircut damp. So there we have that guide that we established in the back. Yeah. So I'm gonna do the same thing we did on the sides. I'm gonna start at the top and go off that first guide, holding the hair in the comb, keeping the comb at a horizontal. Keeping the comb horizontal, excuse me. We're going to kind of work across and go off that guide. I'm going with a nice point. And then we're going to work all the way down towards the bottom. Same thing, bringing everything straight out from the head, holding it in the comb. Just point cut. Follow it all the way around the head. As you can see, I have my guide to follow. Just keep in mind, it's easy. You're going to follow all the way down. Just make sure to hold that hair straight out from the head. We're not building any graduation yet. Continue that all the way around the back. We are going to go and build graduation and go back into this more. So right there, we're just getting rid of some length. So keep in mind, we are going to go back in. So there we have that box that we created. By cutting it in 90, we're removing some length, so when we go in and build our graduation, we're not going to have as much hair to work with. It'll be a lot easier to create our graduation. So there you can see, we cut a box from the back and the sides. Yep. There we go, we're going to go ahead and do this other side. Just make sure that it's squared out. Any hair you don't want in the way, as you can see on the top, just mist it down and comb it out of the way, or use a clip and section it away. Go back and kind of do a little cross check or refine it a little bit. Don't worry about it too much because we are going to go in again and build our graduation on the sides and in the back. Keeping it super square. So if you didn't want to go in and build graduation, you can just cut it at a 90. But I like to keep it a little bit softer around the hairline, because that's what tends to grow out the fastest on someone's head. Someone's hair, I should say. So we cut the perimeter, we cut the sides, we cut the back, and we cut the top. Now let's go ahead and blow dry, and we're going to move into some dry hair cutting. So like I said, if you're cutting the hair wet, keep the hair damp, keep the hair damp, keep misting it down. If you're going to cut dry, make sure the hair is fully dry. You'll have more control. Quick blow dry. I love the Dyson blow dryer. I I do feel like it dries the hair quicker. I don't know if it's just me. Since I got one, I have fell in love with it, and I don't think I could use anything else. And it's nice and quiet. So when you get it dry, you can use a paddle brush, Denman brush, just use your hands. As you can see, it's looking pretty good. Has that nice texture, it's super square. So now this is where you're going to really customize this haircut. I'm still going to go in with the 16.5 because I'm going to be going and cutting it dry. Raise this up a little bit so you can see. So this is where you really want to customize, and in your consultation figure out how short you're going to go. So we have that guide we established that we have on the top. So now what we're going to do is build a little graduation. We're cutting shorter to longer. Before, when we were doing the scissor over comb, we were cutting into 90 degrees, creating a nice layer. So now what we're doing is we're going to kind of determine, you can determine on how much graduation you want to build. I like to keep it nice and clean around the hairline because that's what's going to grow out the fastest. I like to go in and start out less is more. I always like to go back in and cut more, because the last thing you want is you cut too much off too fast. So right now I'm going and building a nice soft graduation, making sure I'm working up to that top guide. I am going to be using all scissors for this haircut. If you wanted to go in and use clippers on this area, you can. But I truly do most of my men's haircuts with all scissor work. I feel like I can work with any bumps, any cowlicks. I have a little bit more control on what I'm doing. So I do a lot of scissor work in all my haircutting. I'll go ahead and continue that up. We're doing the same thing we were doing before, you guys. Instead of pulling it out to a 90, now we're building up a little bit of graduation. The reason we cut at a 90 first was just to remove some of the length. These mannequins can be kind of tough to work around the ears, around the hairline. As you can see, I always keep on trying to push the hair away because I'm just so used to being able to do that. But I think, just let it be difficult. It's just a mannequin. When you are cutting a client or a model, you will be able to push their hair away in certain areas. So as you can see, short to long. So now we're going in with the 127T texturizer. I love scissor overcombing with a texturizer to remove weight. Right here we are actually still removing the length. That's why I'm going super slow. I'm not going too fast. So I like going in and refining this graduation with a texture scissor just to keep it super soft. I feel it helps to grow out. I'll make it last a little bit longer. Won't get as heavy so quickly. So I'm going really slow. Actually, I am still removing the length as I build this graduation. I went in with a scissor before just to remove some length. Now this is just to refine certain areas. See how I tried to push the ear away right there? It's just a habit. Those areas on a mannequin head can be super challenging. There we go, just trying to do it again. Now we're just working up that area. Keeping in mind we're cutting short to long. There we go, I keep trying to push that ear away again. can see it starting to come together. And we're working up to that guide we established at the top. We don't want to go above it and start to round it out. So we have a nice square shape towards the top, and we're building some graduation on the sides and on the back. And at this point you can go as short as you want to go. So we're going to go move back into the 6.5 hybrid scissor. And we're going to go ahead and work on the sides now. Building up a little graduation now. Again, I like to go in with the scissor first, and then I go back in with the texturizing scissor. So we're cutting short to long on the sides as well, on both sides. Working up to that guide we established in the beginning. I feel on mannequins it can be pretty challenging for these men's haircuts, any short haircuts. So I do recommend just find a friend, find a model, try it on your clients, have fun with it. So there you can see we have the 2017 texturizing scissor by CCH. I'm going to go in and still removing some length. As you can see, I am going very slow with it, because I am still removing length. I'm just utilizing the texturizing scissor to keep it super soft. Like nice and tight around the hairline, on the front. And I am removing length still as I build the graduation. I think it's nice to have a few options when it comes to scissors. I love working with the texturizing scissor. You can utilize it in so many different ways. So you can see it starting to all come together. We're going to continue that onto the other side. Any detailing you're doing, go ahead and refine it. You can always go back and do some more at the end as well. Let's go ahead and move on to the other side. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the 6.5 straight scissor, our hybrid scissor. We'll remove some of that weight, starting to slowly, slightly build our graduation. We're just getting some length out of the way, especially if the hair is longer, you guys, in the beginning. It's nice to do this just to get some of that hair out of there. Start building that graduation. Now let's switch back to our texturizing scissor. Again, we are still removing length with this texturizing scissor. That's why I'm working very slow. This part is sped up on the video, but I am still, just to kind of make the timing okay on this video, but I am working very slow still, making sure I'm still removing length. don't have a texturizing scissor, you can go and do all of this with just your scissor. For me, I love going in with the texturizing scissor. I feel like it just comes together a little easier for me. But as you can see, I'm going to work this hairline. I'm switching combs again. That's wider, that's smaller comb. This is probably my favorite size, and men's hair cutting I use the other one. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to switch out my scissor to the 5.5 now. So I'm going back down to the smaller scissor. The scissor I was using in the beginning. The reason why is these right around the ear, it tends to get really tight, especially on these mannequins. We can't move it. So I like to go in with the smaller scissor. It works for me. Just kind of really taper around the hairline. Again, this is what's going to go the fastest. So just kind of take it nice and short around that hairline. Keep in mind we are building graduation. See, the smaller scissor really allows me to get in there behind the ear. Again, play with different size scissors, whatever feels comfortable to you and whatever works. Great. As you can see, the shape's starting to come together with this for this crop men's haircut. It's probably one of my favorite haircuts to do. I buzz my head during this quarantine, but normally I like to work with these or have a crop haircut on myself. We're really just working on that hairline, guys. All the way around. Clean up that perimeter in the back a little bit more. I'm going to go back in with the texturizing scissor now. And now, as you can see, I'm really only going in and doing a few cuts, not too much. I'm not going super slow like before, because right now I'm just really softening the areas that I kind of tapered. I like to say take it a little tighter around the hairline. Just really go and soften that area out a little bit. Especially if they have thick hair. The girl, it's going to be super nice. So there you go, keeping the hair off your client's neck. This dry hair does get super itchy, so keep that in mind when you're with your clients. Get all the hair off their face, get all the loose hair out. I like to do this as I go whenever I'm cutting dry hair. No one likes to have hair just sitting on them. So keep that in mind, think about your client as you're cutting. So as you can see, the shape it's starting to come together. Now it's a lot of just refining. We're going with our CCH feather razor. I like to use this on the back of the neck to get any neck hair off. I don't really use edgers too often. I don't like something too harsh. I don't cut into the hairline pretty often. So I just go ahead and kind of soften out that perimeter in the back with the feather razor, and any hair on the back of the neck, I'll use that as well. That's any feather razor, you guys, any razor with a guard. Straight razor and then turn it to a straight razor shave, which I do not do. So now we're going to go in, and we're going to go in with our Stiller 2017 texturizing scissor. We're going to close the scissor and slide it out. what this is going to do is it's going to soften out the top. It's going to give it some nice texture. And remove some weight, which will also have a nice grow out. Again, this texturizing scissor can be scary doing this. But I do like to utilize this technique and create some nice soft texture. So nice and turn away. So when I'm going to style it, you'll have lots of separation. You can go in with a straight scissor and do a nice slide cutting technique. The texturizing scissor again just works perfect. Where you feel like it's going to be heavy, slide the scissors off. Close them all the way and slide straight. This is a fun technique to do when working behind the chair. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure all this is square, guys. Again, this is going to just soften out all these areas, making sure you're holding the hair out to a 90. Try not to round it out. And again, we're just removing some of the weight that we built up when we had our dye. Again, you can leave this super heavy if you want your crop, but I like to soften it out because the grow out will be a lot softer. If you leave it heavy, it's going to grow out faster. Get heavier faster. Just a little bit. As you can see, I'm not really doing much length here. I'm just softening it. They're 1/27T texturizing scissor. All of collection 1, we have a 5.5 that we used, a 6.0, and a 6.5, and the 1/27T. Great, all great for wet hair cutting and dry hair. I'm going to work that all the way around, keeping everything straight out. So you can go ahead and customize these areas, any areas around the front. Feel free to go ahead and customize. As you can see, with that eyebrow, I like to take out a little bit more weight in there. Any areas you feel like it's a little too heavy for you, just go ahead and slice that out. Today with CCH Scissors, if you're watching this video, we are offering a promo code. It's CCH Family. We're offering 10% off with any pair of scissors or multiple pairs along with free shipping. So go ahead and utilize that code if you're watching this video. If you do have CCH scissors already, we still want you to get something as well. So go ahead and send us a selfie with your pair of scissors, a fun creative selfie we can use for our social media, and we will send you one of our CCH sectioning sticks. Again, our promo code is CCH Family. You'll use that code at checkout. So there we go, we are just slicing still some of that weight out through the top. Play around with these texturizing scissors, they're amazing. They're fun to go in and use on all sorts of haircuts. If you have any questions on them or any questions, feel free to DM CCH Scissors or myself at Chad Cook on Instagram. Alright guys, so we're going to do a little bit more refining. So this is all, what we've been doing is just really customizing this haircut to what we want. So I'm going and switching into that wider comb now. I love using different combs and different scissors, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of comb all the way back and going with a nice point cutting technique. Just creating some nice separation, show off a little bit more texture when you go in style. This is also a fun technique to use behind the chair. This style of cutting really stands out to clients. It's like you're putting on a show for them. They get excited, they build a lot of confidence with each other, they trust you. So you start cutting hair like this, the true artist comes out into the blown away. Just, wow, I've never seen someone do this before, because not a lot of people cut hair like this. So it's something different, a different way to going into it. You can always go and put it into your fingers and go in a point cut. I like to go in and just use a nice scissor or comb and go in and just refine certain areas. And you can do this throughout the whole haircut. Whether you refine it, have some fun, play around with this technique. Keeping in mind in that top area in the back, keep in mind the calyx. Ears and touch-ups you need to do. That I really with the 1/6.5. So you can still put it in your fingers too. And do a nice point cut, whatever works for you. A lot of the times when you're cutting this hair in the beginning, you guys are cutting the hair super short in the front. It can be scary to clients. That's where you have to build trust with them. They have to trust you and know it's going to all come together. So as you can see, we're blow drying all the loose hair out, making sure all the hair is off the face, off the neck. And now we're going to go ahead and let's style it. Yeah. Today we're going to go in and use our styling cream. The styling cream is by Suns by Courtney Cook Hair. Leaves a nice matte finish. It's a strong hold, which I love. The product doesn't wear out throughout the day. Go ahead and rub it in your palms, and we're going to work with starting with our fingertips. Making sure you get the product all throughout the hair. Then you can always add more or then start to play with the style. So I really like to use the product to piece out the hair, to show off all that nice texture that we cut into it. I like to start with a little bit and then add more. Again, this is a strong hold, matte finish styling cream. It's awesome. You can go ahead and check it out at sunsbycourtneycookhair.com. Go ahead and send us a DM. We can send you all the info as well. So now guys, this is where it's fun. You're going to walk through your client, show them how to style it. As you can see, the blow dry was super easy. You can see that nice graduation we built. Not taking it too high towards the top of the head. Super square. You're going to continue just kind of finding that finished look you want. You can really style this. You can push it to the side. You can push it more forward. You can really do a lot with this. It's super easy to style. You really can't do it wrong. Whenever it comes to styling, I always have my clients try, and I want to make sure they're able to style it when they leave my chair, when at home. I want them to be able to recreate the look. So you can see, guys, here's our finished look. Yeah, nice graduation. Right through the back as well. Didn't take it too high. And all that nice soft texture through the top. Keeping it nice and tight around the ears, around the hairline, which will help with the grow out. And we will remove a lot of the weight, which will also help with the grow out. So there it is. I hope you guys liked it. Here's some finished shots of the haircut. hope you enjoyed that. I decided to switch things up and do a men's haircut. I've been doing a lot of women's haircuts during the stay-at-home order. So I wanted to show off. We did a nice little crop on there, and I wanted to show off some of the techniques I like to utilize. So a lot of people, when I'm doing education, say they get nervous to cut men's hair. I think, again, you guys, you have to find your style and just cut hair. Take this downtime and just practice and try different things that are challenging you. So when it's time to come back, you're going to come back stronger than ever, because we're going to have all sorts of hair coming in behind our chair when it's time to reopen. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.